All right, welcome back to News Talk on this Friday afternoon. By the way, it's Arbor Day. We've got 5 different things for you to know to have a healthy tree this summer if you're planting a new one. We're going to start on this left side. Matt is going to lead us through this long list here. Not too intensive though, right?
Easy things that we can do to really protect our trees to make sure we can really celebrate them for 50 to 100 years. And that starts by picking the right tree if you're going to plant one in the landscape. Trees have to survive droughts, floods, heats, colds, and everything in between. And so it's really important that we pay a little extra money and maybe don't buy the cheapest tree out there, but buy ones that are recommended varieties to be able to handle those weather extremes for the next 50 to 100 years.
Exactly, something that doesn't need too much water like that would grow in the Amazon rainforest,
exactly,
right?
Yep. Once we have a tree that we're ready to plant, we want to make sure we plant it correctly. The most important part for planting a new tree is we want to look for what's called the root flare. This portion of the tree here where the roots and this trunk come together and start to flare or fan out. That's what the tree is going to consider ground level.
Okay.
And so we always want to see that root flare above ground once the tree is planted. So if you look through your neighborhood and see the biggest trees, you'll see this root flare very visible on all of our mature trees.
Interesting. And we were talking about this earlier. What can happen if you don't plant it correctly?
If we accidentally plant our tree too deep, roots are going to grow up and around the trunk, and as those roots get bigger and the trunk gets bigger, that root system will actually strangle out the tree and kill it.
And then you don't have a tree. Okay, what do we have here in the middle?
Once we're ready to, once the tree is established or new, we want to make sure we water it correctly. That's going to be about 10 gallons a week on our newly planted trees, anything that's 2 inches in diameter or less. We can measure that by filling 2 5-gallon buckets and do simple things like installing a little spigot here on our bucket.
This is really neat, actually. This is like a little DIY deal that you did here.
So we just need about an 1/8-inch hole, and we can that'll kind of slowly release that water.
How long do we water newly planted trees?
Really want to focus on the summer and drought times of the year, so about 10 gallons of water per week. Once that tree is about 3 to 5 years old, we're going to consider it established. And at that point, what we need to do is really soak the ground under the tree about 12 inches deep.
Oh, wow.
But if we can do that 12-inch watering once a month or once every 3 to 4 weeks, that's all the more water that tree's going to need.
Exactly, and pay attention if you're getting rain as well. You probably don't need to do it as often. We've got this PVC pipe-looking thing here. What is this?
Lastly, what we want to do is we want to make sure we protect the trunk from sun scald, which occurs in the winter months.
So is this sun scald here right now?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
And basically this damage kills the bark tissue, which moves water up and down the tree. So what we do is we add these plastic wraps around the trunk of our tree from October through basically April. And that basically is like a little jacket that insulates the trunk and prevents sun scald damage.
This is interesting that that's what they're for, because I always thought it was to protect it from deer, like rubbing their antlers on it.
It can do that too. There's multiple benefits, but sun scald is the biggest.
Okay, perfect. All right, and of course, having a healthy tree is the purpose of having a tree, but what else can it do?
Yeah, so if we have a healthy tree, we do these best practices, we mulch it, we fertilize it appropriately. That's going to be the best defense against any insect or disease problems that tree might have.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Matt. All right, that's all we've got right now. We'll be right back after the break.